Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining the second annual Lincoln, Ontario, Canada, got to say that this year, AgriTech Hackathon. My name's Dave Robitaille. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Spark Niagara, who along with the town of Lincoln are thrilled to host this event, this truly global event this year. So no industry is more important or has more impact on humanity than agriculture. So we're doubly thrilled to have representation from more than 20 countries from every region of the planet in this year's event. I won't list, but it's more than 20. So over the course of the weekend, we'll get to know and meet several of the teams from across the world. You'll be seeing quite a bit of me for the next hour, as I'll be your master of ceremonies. And importantly, throughout the weekend, we'll be profiling many of the sponsors on the Hop-In platform and on Spark's website. This event could not happen without the generous contributions of our industry partners and the tremendous collaboration that we enjoy between Spark and the town of Lincoln. And on that note, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Paul Ianni, who's going to be our next speaker. Paul's been a wonderful partner and guide to Spark as we have grown as an organization the last few years, and in particular is the brains behind this event. Paul is the Director of Economic Development for the town of Lincoln, and that's a role he has held for the last 4 years. We're going to watch a short video, and when the video is complete, Paul will be here at the microphone. Welcome, Paul.
Discover Lincoln, the missing link to your next adventure. Just a short hour drive away from the GTA and the US-Canadian border. Set amidst the beauty of the Niagara Escarpment and vistas of the Lake Ontario shoreline. Lincoln is your gateway to shop, taste, and explore all that West Niagara has to offer. Lincoln offers a diverse portfolio of activities and experiences that are sure to satisfy every type of travel enthusiast on your list. Taste your way from farm to table and sip from vine to glass as you visit over 50 world-class craft beverage and culinary destinations. Explore our bicycle-friendly trails, paddle-worthy waterways, and picturesque landscape. Immerse yourself in history and the arts like never before at one of our unique cultural and heritage sites. Shop until you drop in our charming boutiques, bountiful farmers markets, and adventure-worthy outfitters. No matter your preferred style adventure, our vibrant people and welcoming communities are standing by to link you up with everything you need to create your next memorable adventure. Discover what Lincoln has to offer. Begin planning your next adventure at shoplincoln.ca. Share your adventure with us on your favorite social platform.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Dave, for that lovely introduction. I would also like to thank our participants from across the world for joining us this weekend at our second annual virtual 2020 AgriTech Hackathon. The town of Lincoln is proud to be a center of excellence for agriculture, and the hackathon is just one of the many ways we wish to achieve these goals. When we developed the idea of this hackathon last year, the goal was to bring agriculture and tech together to solve issues that both ours and the larger community face. We have the highest number of farms in all of Niagara, supporting over 3,500 jobs. Our farms account for 13% in gross farm receipts in the Golden Horseshoe, totaling $253 million annually. One of the most important value-added agricultural businesses here in the town of Lincoln are our wineries. We have over 50 wineries across the community and over 1,700 jobs in the craft beverage sector. And while we have a strong, diversified economy here in Lincoln, we look at all the opportunities to further grow and support our local industries. I am very excited to hear all of the innovative solutions brought forth by our participants this weekend. So now, allow me to please introduce our next speaker, Councillor Paul McPherson. Councillor McPherson is the chair of our Planning and Economic Development Committee and a proud champion of our local economy. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the 2020 AgriTech Hackathon. I'm looking very much forward to what exciting ideas the teams will come up with this weekend. And it is so exciting to know that there are teams virtually from all over the world participating this year. I'd also like to thank the organizers, the volunteers, and mentors for making the event possible. As chair of the Town of Lincoln's Planning and Economic Development Committee, this event is especially exciting for me as agriculture is a vital part of our economy. Innovation in agriculture is a key part of our economic development strategy. Lincoln is one of Canada's premier locations for high revenue agriculture, and we are working to leverage this status for further growth. We are committed to grow agricultural sector competitiveness and innovation by promoting linkages among the agricultural sector. Vineland Research and Innovation Center, post-secondary educational institutions, the federal and provincial government programs, and equipment and technology suppliers. In fact, Niagara region as a whole sees this as a priority. Part of Niagara's strategy is to position the region as the place to do business in agriculture, food processing, food retail, and food service sectors. We want to empower researchers, institutions, private businesses, and entrepreneurs to develop and support opportunities in agriculture. As home to research institutions focused on bringing new ideas to market, Niagara can take the lead in this area. This also requires successful commercialization, moving ideas from discovery to action. That's where entrepreneurship comes in, with investors and businesses ready to make things happen. The key to success in today's markets is innovation, and that is what the AgriTech Hackathon is all about. By bringing together those in farming and the tech industry, we can solve challenges and improve productivity, safety and sustainability in agriculture, paving the way for an exciting future. So I would say to all, good luck and have fun this weekend.
Again, in the age of COVID. And as we learn on the fly, I got some feedback from the audience that I was a little too quick cleaning the microphone. And the poor guys back there who are hot on the trigger, I beat them. And I gave a lot of feedback when I cleaned the microphone last time. So to the audience, my apologies for that scratchy noise. And thank you to the person who texted me the feedback on the speed of my cleaning. But thank you, Councillor McPherson, for your words. It's now a pleasure for me to introduce the Mayor of Lincoln, Mayor Sandra Easton. Mayor Easton is a lifelong resident of the town of Lincoln, to whom she has given more than 30 years of public service. I can speak from many years of experience that she's an inspiration to all of us. We're fortunate to know her and be inspired by her daily, and she has served as the town's mayor since 2014. So, Mayor Easton, the podium is yours.
Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you to this second hackathon. It's amazing. Last year when we all gathered, it was just a little baby, just a thought. And it grew so quickly, and we had the most dynamic teams involved through the weekend. It was just the most exciting thing that I think we had done in a long time because of the partners, and just because it was brand new and people were willing to just go ahead and see where it went. And now I came into the room tonight and I heard incredible news about how big this had become, how the culture of all of you that are out there who are going to take part really bring a different flavor to all of this. It's not like having a council meeting where everyone sits down and there's rules and regulations. You're going to bring your innovation, your ideas. You're going to bring the best research and try and find solutions to the problems that you're given. So I welcome you all. It is a very, very exciting prospect to be doing this for the second year in a row, to have it grown to the dimensions that it has, and also to have it international. So thank you all very much. The town of Lincoln survives very well through the partnerships that they have with other people. And I know that you're going to be working in small groups. Maybe you will work independently. But when you're working in small groups, you look for people who are like-minded. And for us, that was Spark Niagara. And so I want to thank Spark Niagara, Dave Robitaille and your team, because this is how we move on. This is how we make Lincoln the center of excellence for agriculture that we are known for. Of course, it is ideal that we are the host for this in this location, and because at this time of the year, no matter where you are in the world, just check it out on Google. Normally it would be a bit cool here, but not in Lincoln. We are extending our beautiful fall weather well into November. This weekend is going to be outstanding. You've heard a great deal about the numbers, how successful we are as an agricultural community. Our farms are small, but high productivity is what carries the day. And of course, we are involved with both Brock University and Niagara College, as well as Vineland Research and Innovation Center. And those investigations are carried on where they're developing leading-edge technologies that will move the agricultural sectors forward. They work on precision tools and robotics that can pick cucumbers and mushrooms or monitor conditions in greenhouses. Bringing together technology and agriculture improves efficiency, productivity, and safety. And AgriTech creates innovative solutions for nearly every step in the agricultural process. It is also a key component of how we can drive growth and job creation in our community and across the country. As part organizers of the AgriTech Hackathon, we believe that bringing together those in the farming and tech industries, so much more can be done to improve agriculture and pave the way for future generations and the farmers and ag professionals to ensure their jobs and the economic growth for the future. So I welcome you all from across the world. I hope you have a wonderful time. We're going to be looking forward to how things progress. There are a few sites that we're going to be, there's going to be a bit of activity, some hustle and bustle at this end of the world, and we'll be moving around. The councillors are here tonight. I'm going to name them because they are part of our local government, and they were the ones who originally approved that the town get involved. So you have met Councillor McPherson. I'd like to introduce Councillor Diane Regima and Councillor Lynn Timmers, and I see the Deputy Mayor, Mike Mikulek, and I'm looking to see if there's anyone else. I think I have everyone that is here. But these are the people who would have approved this initiative in the first place. So have fun, and we'll be talking to you again on Sunday. And by then, we'll know about all the great work that you've done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Easton, for your words of inspiration. We're pleased to join you this evening from Rockaway Vineyards. So we know we have a broad audience. We've mentioned the international nature of the audience. We also have about 20 different communities in Canada represented, from Ontario and British Columbia on the participant team, and about 15 communities in the United States just to the south of us. And it's great for us to be able to be hosted this evening and for the weekend here at Rockaway Vineyards, which is one of the many gems. We heard Councillor McPherson talk about the importance of the beverage industry to not just the local economy, but also the national economy. So it's a great link to have us be able to be hosted here at one of the great wineries in the region. And I think there was the tourism video so for all of you who are out there who haven't yet had the opportunity to come to Niagara, we very much look forward to the day when we can host you again and hope to see you here. Now I'm pleased to introduce Sam Oosterhoff, who is the Member of Provincial Parliament for the area we are in, which is called Niagara West here in Ontario. Sam was first elected, believe it or not, 4 years ago this month to his first elected office, and then re-elected again in July of 2018. Sam holds a prestigious record in Canadian politics as the youngest member of provincial parliament to ever be elected in the province of Ontario. He is also an inspiration to us for the contributions that young people can make in public life, and has already accomplished a tremendous amount in his 4 years in office. Sam, welcome.
Thank you very much, Dave. It's a privilege to be here. Your worship, you are right. It is normally fairly cold in Canada at this time of the year, but here in Lincoln it is a balmy 18 degrees, I understand, and I would take credit for it, but I've talked to the Minister of the Environment and he assures me that all weather issues are federal jurisdiction. So unfortunately we can't take credit for that. As noted this evening already, what an incredible turnout. I understand there are 55 participants this evening from 21 different nations across the globe. So really remarkable group of people, yourselves, who are coming forward to take on these challenges to create solutions. And I just want to encourage you in an area that is so important. Agriculture. I come from an agriculture family. I have a lot of siblings, too many to name, and many of them are involved in agriculture. But one of the things they regularly speak about is just how important the technology that they're using, whether it's out in the field or to manage feeding systems, to manage animals and herd control. There's so many different aspects of agriculture that are being increasingly impacted, of course, by climate change and other challenges, but the solutions are so many times found in technology and in the initiatives that each and every one of you this evening are going to be working on. So I want to encourage you, Niagara actually accounts for 43% of the Golden Horseshoe's agricultural output, 1.41 billion, that's billion with a B, dollars just right here from the Niagara region, and of course, as was mentioned, a large portion of it here in Lincoln. So you're part of a magnificent undertaking. And I just want to acknowledge also how aligned the initiative that Lincoln has undertaken and that all of you are participating in with our government's desire to invest more in broadband, but also in coding. We've brought forward new important curriculums to ensure, of course, financial literacy and math skills, but key to that is also coding and digital literacy. So one of the key pieces in our government's recent introduction of new curriculum is starting coding already in grade 1. And so I think the dovetail in the relationships both between the private sector, non-governmental organizations, and all levels of government is truly remarkable. And to have 55 teams from 21 countries speaks mountains about how much work has gone into this. I want to thank you and congratulate you and wish you the very best of luck in this hackathon.
Thank you, Sam. As Sam said a couple of times, remarkable. 55 teams. Just add to that more than 300 individual participants across the world. We're very proud of that. We're very excited by that. It's now a great pleasure for me to get to introduce my old friend, Dean Allison. Dean is the member of the federal parliament for the area in which we are in, which is Niagara West. So Dean was first elected to this office in 2004 and has been re-elected in 2006, 2008, 2011, 2015, and 2019, which tells you we have a lot of elections around here for one thing, if nothing else. But Dean's a really popular guy, and that's why he gets elected and does such good work for us in our nation's capital in Ottawa. Dean has chaired several federal committees, particularly committees that are focused in the area of foreign trade and foreign affairs and in human resources. And prior to entering federal politics, Dean was an entrepreneur, continues to be an entrepreneur. Like most of us who are entrepreneurs, we can't stand just doing one thing, got to have multiple jobs. And also has been the owner of several popular restaurants here in the area that we're in. So, Dean, a great pleasure to have you take the microphone.
All right, fellow hackers, let's be honest. This has been the worst 6 or 7 months of all of our lives. And I got to tell you, the only way that we're going to get through this is with people like you. We need young, we need old, we need hackers, we need entrepreneurs. Government will not fix any problems. I can assure you, I've been in government 16 years. And I will tell you right now, what we're supposed to do is set policy so we make life easier for you to do that. So whether you're from the Philippines or India, whether it's tomorrow morning or it's this afternoon, I want to welcome everyone here today as we get started. I can't stress enough how important entrepreneurship is. I co-chair the Entrepreneur Caucus in the federal government amongst all parties. It's a nonpartisan role, and it's one of the things that has driven me to get into politics. I think we need to do a better job in governments to create the opportunities for you guys to do it. So that's why I'm encouraged with this partnership that is happening here with Spark Niagara, with Spark Lincoln, the town of Lincoln, and of course with business and education, and of course communities. I think a lot of great things get done when we collaborate, and that's what you guys are going to do over the next couple of days. And so I would encourage you, no matter how terrible the last 6, 7, 8 months have been, you guys are the solution and you guys are the future. As businesses fail, and there are going to be a ton that fail because of the restrictions that government's put on, we need new businesses to rise up. And that is why we need you people here today to continue to innovate, to continue to partner, to continue to collaborate. We're counting on you to help us drive the economy forward as we work through this terrible, horrible thing called COVID-19. All the best, and I'm looking forward to hearing the results after the end of the weekend. Thanks so much for showing up.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Dean. I'm on now. Over the weekend, we'll have several topical keynote addresses, moderated by yours truly, and panel discussions. Tonight, I am pleased to introduce Dr. Amy Bowen as our first keynote speaker. Dr. Bowen is the Director of Consumer Insights for the Vineland Research and Innovation Center, which is just down the road from where we are at the moment, and it's one of the absolute treasures here in the town of Lincoln. Dr. Bowen has progressed through several important roles at Vineland Research over her 11-year tenure there after an impressive teaching career at Brock University, which is also close by. And she specialized in the sensory evaluation of wine. Fantastic sounding career. Something I now look back and regret that I should have gone into myself. Someone we definitely all need to listen and learn from and probably get to know a whole lot better. So, Dr. Bowen, the podium is yours. Welcome.
Okay. So first of all, I just want to say I'm thrilled to be here and be able to speak to everybody tonight about what we do at Vineland and to share some of the kind of great solutions we're trying to sort of figure out for the horticultural industry. So as has been said by many of the speakers, we're here in Lincoln, and that's where Vineland Research and Innovation Center is located. So it seems sort of very appropriate that I'm here tonight speaking from Vineland Research and Innovation Center. So what I thought I would talk to you about today is to sort of keep it local and talk about some locally grown innovation. So give you a little bit about an overview of what it is that we do at Vineland, and then talking about how we use collaboration technology to try to kind of speed up and try to sort of innovate within the horticultural space. So at Vineland, as many people have mentioned, we're located here in Niagara. We're a private, not-for-profit horticultural research center that focuses on basically research and development for the horticulture industry, both locally and across Canada. And then we also hope that that reach will go greater internationally, and so maybe some of you will have impact from it one of these days. So really what our mission is, if we think about it, it's to create an economically viable, sustainable, and competitive horticultural industry for our region and for Canada. And so how do we do that? That's a big job, right? There's how do you focus in? How do you figure out how we're going to sort of tackle that? And so what we've done over sort of the 12-year tenure, 13-year tenure that Vineland's been there now. I've just celebrated my 11 years there this week, actually, is we've focused that down. And so now we really focus in sort of three areas to have sort of three main innovation goals that we really focus on. And this is what we figured out. This is where we do well. This is where there's need. And this is where, we've learned sort of how to collaborate and can create impact for the industry. So the first one is really around diversifying and enhancing horticultural products. This is both for domestic and export markets. So it'd be things like new variety development, new introductions of fruit and vegetable, flowers, trees, breeding programs, those types of things, as well as very much what I look at is who are the people that want them? What's the market opportunity? What's the consumer demand for these types of products? The second one is very much aligned with what the sort of AgriTech Hackathon is about, which is really pairing automation solutions with agriculture. And what we've focused on, since that is just such a huge area, is the labor shortages. So realizing that there's huge need for more automation and more labor efficiencies within the horticultural sector, and so trying to find solutions of managing that. And then the third one is about improving the environmental performance of the sector, both on the farm and off the farm. So a lot of things, like trees, sure, you can think about them as being, in orchards that are growing apples, but you can also think about them as greening our cities and planting along the highways. And we can also think about all the things that are eating our plants and sort of attacking the plants, and how we can improve on things like that with pest management, biocontrol. And so that's sort of another area. So those are kind of the three areas that we focus in on. So how do we go about doing that? So sure, we can focus in, but how do we approach that? So what we've done is we've really developed 5 different research and development programs at Vineland, which is how we tackle this. And we talk about our goals first because we don't think of ourselves as working in silos. We think of ourselves as working across all of these different areas of expertise, because working together is how we create solutions and how we achieve problem solving and sort of make it better. So if I just worked on my own and had my own results and didn't share them with the person beside me, well, how are they going to know how to integrate that into making an agricultural solution? So that's what we're very much about at Vineland, is bringing these broad expertise and collaborating together. So the 5 main areas that we work on, the first one's around plant variety development. So we use a lot of genetics, molecular biology, biochemistry tools to enhance and be able to improve new plant varieties so that they have better disease resistance, but also better flavor. So, we're looking at sort of the whole sort of spectrum of it. We look at automation in terms of things like mushroom harvesting, cucumber packaging, smart irrigation, so you don't need someone walking around to test if the plant is dry. We can have tools that tell us when that's happening, or sensing for pest and disease. We've got greening the landscapes, which is everything about starting a tree from very small to sort of growing it up to full-size tree, and what are all the implications of sort of the root development and that progress as it moves through that supply chain. As well as biocontrol is our 4th program, where we focused very much on how pests can control pests, essentially, in our greenhouses, and also sort of in the fields. And then finally, consumer insights. So that's the area I lead. So I'll spend a little bit more time talking about that this evening. And then I'm going to give you sort of a case study of how we're using all of this at Vineland to support the horticultural industry. So really, what is it that I do? How does consumer insights, consumer behavior fit into sort of horticulture, agri-technology, all of that piece of it? Well, it's really about developing strategies that are going to help that design concept that you have make it to the market, create that impact. So it's great if you decide, I need a new solution for, watering my plants. Well, if everybody else thinks that's a pretty stupid solution, it's never going to go anywhere, right? So we need to understand who the consumers are all along the supply chain that want that and that are interested in that. And when I talk about a consumer, it doesn't mean the person that's going to go buy it off the shelf. It's about the person that could be using it all along that supply chain. So if we're thinking of developing a new tomato variety, our consumer could be the grower that's going to buy the seed, right? Or it could be the grocery store that's actually going to be dealing with it. So that's really what we're trying to do, is we're trying to figure out what are the opportunities in the market positioning that we have out there for the industry. And so it's about finding the preferred products and who are the people that like them. So we do that by understanding the sensory properties of it. So if you can eat it, how does it taste? How does it look? What's its texture? How does that matter? Because that's another thing is, if you're cooking something, it's easy to add more salt or more sugar. But if you're picking a new variety from the field and it doesn't taste very good, well, you have to go find a new variety in the field, right? You can't just modify it. So that's something that's very important in understanding from the very beginning, is how that whole package goes to making a product great from the beginning, because it's got to have those intrinsic values from the start. Then once you have a great package, you have to understand, how does its name, how does its competition, how that it's grown, how does that impact how a product is viewed? So, you hear things like locally grown, organic, sustainable, pesticide-free. All of these things will impact how people view your product. And then we also want to figure out who wants to use that product or who wants to consume that product. So we have to figure out who that target market is for that. Because even if we looked at everybody in this room, I guess I shouldn't give it away, but we all have something to drink in front of us, right? Lots of juice and pop and that kind of stuff. But not everybody has the same thing. So that just goes to show that we all want different things. We all have the exact same options up there, but we're segmented in who chooses apple juice versus who chooses orange juice versus who chooses tomato juice. So we need to understand that as we're putting products out there, because I don't want to make a product that I like that nobody else in the room is enjoying. I want to make sure we're putting products out there that everybody's enjoying, so that all the investment that goes in creating new technologies and creating those solutions is being used by the greatest amount of people. So what I thought I would do is kind of, how do we use this at Vineland and incorporating all of these different sort of groups and expertise to bring products to market? And I thought, well, it's fall in Niagara. What better to talk about than an apple, right? So why apples? Why are we doing anything with apples at Vineland? One, Because if you think about it and you look at the numbers, apples account for over 40% of the Canadian marketed fruit production. So if you think of all the fruit that's grown and marketed in Canada, over 40% of it is apples if you look across the provinces. So that's a pretty big deal. If we can do work in apples, we're going to have an impact. If we also think about it, the average Canadian eats almost 40 pounds of apples a year. So again, there's a big market share. We're looking at that opportunity. Also, if we think about it, in Ontario, 77% of our apples are sold fresh, but we import over 50% of our apples because we can't meet our demand. So if we can get better varieties and sort of, more apples that are sort of planted, in our region, we can get more people sort of eating that sort of local product. It also has huge economic benefits for our sector, contributing almost 620 million in economic activity and over 7,000 jobs just in the apple sector in Ontario. And as well, the apple industry themselves are investing in their own future, so we want to work with them and support that and give them the best opportunities for their investments to be successful. So, just in 2019, they planted over 300,000 trees, new tender fruit variety trees, to be able to grow and support with support from the Greenbelt Foundation. So these are all reasons why, apples are a big deal for us in Niagara, in Lincoln, and at Vineland. So I want to talk about a little bit about what we're doing in apples. So we have our apple breeding program. So what we're trying to do is refresh the variety mix of apple production in Canada to ensure that retailers and consumers have a consistent supply of Canadian-grown novel apple varieties. So why, if there's so many apple varieties out there, sort of do we care? Well, one thing is local adaptation. So a lot of the varieties, as I said, over 50% of apple varieties are being imported in Ontario. Part of that is because other countries are making apple varieties that Canadian consumers want to eat. And so we want to now be developing new apple varieties that our consumers want to eat. Also, apples if you don't know, takes about 20 years to get a new apple variety on the market. So that's a long time if you wait to sort of year 18 for get people to sort of try it and evaluate it and see if it's something they're going to like or not like. So what we're doing at Vineland is working early on to understand what are the characteristics, what are the consumer liking drivers that are required of apples, and then how can we integrate that into our breeding program and use tools and technology to fast track that so maybe it won't take us 20 years to get a new apple out onto the market. And so just for reference, our apple program started in 2011, and we're hoping to have our first one on the market by 2028. So, it is a long pipeline to get those things rolling. So the first thing we did at Vineland when we started our program in 2011 was understand who the consumers are and what is it that they like in apples. So we have a trained panel at Vineland that comes in and they evaluate different products and they differentiate them based on their taste, texture, and flavor. So they evaluated over 70 different apple varieties, and there's actually thousands, so 70 was just a small sort of subsection of it, and they let us know how they differentiated for 18 different attributes. Then we took a subset of those to consumers, and they told us what they liked and didn't like about those apple varieties so that we could identify what are the drivers of preference for apples. So what we found is everybody loves kind of crisp, juicy apples. And then once you have the right texture in there, about 90% of consumers like the apples that were a little bit sweeter and that what they considered had more of the apple flavor to them. So that's fantastic. We know that that's sort of the profile that we need to be looking for. But we thought 90%, there's got to be more segmentation differences than that. So we did some more research in 2017, and we actually found out that that sort of sweet spot that we talk about in terms of where apples fit that are most liked, that a great apple is different for different people. And so we were able to use that to understand that some people are really driven by texture, and some people are really driven by flavor. And so we use that to develop tools and technology so we don't have to have people eating all the apples. We can use technology to predict if people are going to like the apples that are coming out of our breeding program. So that's really how we use all of this sensory and consumer information. It's used to go back to inform our breeding program. It's used to develop genomic and biochemical and instrumental methods, as well as it moves forward if we think of how we get things out onto the market and create impact by helping us to guide and build our commercialization pipeline. So I thought I would just kind of show you sort of how we sort of use sort of this information at Vineland. So if you think about it, the first thing we did is we created these profiles. So we know that these profiles are different, that some apples are liked more than others for these characteristics. So we started off by taking apples that were well liked, crossing those, pollinating those in field, so it was like planned pollination. Then we picked the seeds from those apples, planted them out, and then we could use leaf tissue. Usually it's 3 to 5 years before you have fruit. So, within the same season, we can take a leaf tissue, a punch to get leaf tissue, we can extract the DNA from that, and we've been able to develop molecular markers based on those sensory characteristics for texture and flavor that we can say, do these have the desirable characteristics that we want to plant them? So we can enrich our population so we're only planting the ones that have the best chance of success, so we're having to cull and put expenses into sort of fewer apples. So the ones with the favorable genetics, they get grown up and then they get grafted into the field. Then 4 years later, we come back to those apples that we just grafted into the field. So see, this is why we're trying to speed things up. And then we start evaluating them. Still, right now, the first thing we have to do is taste them. So we actually have people at Vineland that walk up and down the rows and bite into every apple that they think looks good. And they make a decision whether it has the right flavor profile that it can move forward. If it does, it gets harvested and stored, and then it gets sort of inventoried, and then it goes through our sort of staff panel that taste it to say, is it just about right? Like, is it good enough to kind of keep moving on through the evaluations? We go through 4 rounds of that, and then the best apples go into our train panel, and then they move on to the next generation of our breeding program. So we start if you first go, every apple or every tree is a unique apple. If it makes it through that first cut, then we'll now plant 8 trees of that apple. If it does that cut again, 3 years later, then we'll move it forward to 100 trees, and then we'll start planting with commercial growers. So we're building all of that in, as well as disease resistance and yield and all the agronomic aspects that are important as we go along. We've also realized that flavor is so important. We don't need to taste every single apple to see if it has the right flavor, because we know the flavor that's being produced by the apple is based on the chemical composition. So we can use tools to be able to quickly screen through instrumentation to be able to say, does it have the right volatile profile that we want to keep sort of moving it on? So it's a higher throughput way that we can go through hundreds of apples in the same amount of time people can go through tens of apples to be able to say, does it have the right characteristics that we want to keep it in our breeding program? And I'll admit, we're pretty harsh. If we don't think it makes a cut, we just get rid of it. So the second thing that we've also done is texture is so important. But the thing is we humans are complicated, and how we use our mouth and how we move things around and our saliva and everything else when we're eating an apple is not the same as taking a machine and just probing it and saying, yep, that's the texture, that's right. So we've been trying to find better tools that better match how we orally process apples to be able to just go through a machine that can go through quickly and be able to say, yep, it's got the right texture, we'll keep moving this along in our breeding program. And finally, how we're using this as well is right from the beginning. So, I said, watch out for our first release in 2028, which seems far away, but we actually have to start planning for that now. So we can use this information about consumer liking drivers, sensory profiles, texture profiles, volatile profiles, having these genetic markers to enrich and fast track our populations to hopefully sort of speed up this pipeline, but also to already start working because we know what preference drivers are, we know what value added and what information is going to be useful in terms of commercializing it, to start working our marketing plan, our branding plan, what is our value proposition, what is going to be our licensing model, and all of those things that will also be extremely successful for making a new apple variety on the market, something that's going to be valued and excited. So that's a little bit about Vineland and a little bit about our apple story. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend and can come up with some great AgriTech solutions on your own, and I look forward to seeing what the results are. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bowen, for volunteering to be one of our keynote speakers this evening. As you can see, Dr. Bowen is very impassioned and enthusiastic about the work that she does, so thank you. We're definitely grateful for you being here this evening. Not many economic developers can talk about the wonderful institution they have in their backyard, which is VRIC, so thank you. This year we added an extra element to our AgriTech Hackathon. For those of you who may not be aware, we had multiple teams competing in a month-long hack, or mini-hack as we called it, that answered the following question. How can a tourism destination, like the town of Lincoln, use technology to uncover visitor demographics, and identify visitor behavior at local eco and agritourism attractions. Alongside the question we provided was a case study of our very own Charles Daly Park as an example of a tourist destination that could benefit from gathering visitor demographics. So I would like to congratulate, and this is exciting because they're hearing this for the very first time, Thomas Lilo, Asad Jalib, Adam Ginsberg, and Noor Haj for their wonderful submission. Their idea of collecting postal codes at our public park using Wi-Fi will help us gather information, demographics to help us learn more about who is using our parks, and we're going to extrapolate that to our larger tourism sector. So thank you, congratulations, and you will be receiving the $500 gift. So thank you.
Thank you, Paul, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for participating. Over the next little bit, we will be going over the event information for you. There will be a group of us, so pay close attention. I first want to acknowledge how important it is for everyone to follow our rules and regulations, as well as the code of conduct when competing in this year's 2020 AgriTech Hackathon. You can find these documents in our AgriTech Hackathon Hacker's Guide. Please reach out to any staff if you have any difficulties or questions while accessing these documents. Also within the Hacker's Guide, you will find a full event schedule for this weekend where we have a total of 8 mini games, a workshop, 2 keynote speakers, 2 live panel discussions, and even a Niagara wine concert series. So please check out the event schedule and don't miss out on these fantastic elements that are part of this year's hackathon. And of course, the reason you're all here, the hack. The hack will officially begin at 8 p.m. following our opening ceremonies. Each team will have until Sunday, November 11th at 11 a.m. sharp Eastern Standard Time to hand in their solutions. We highly recommend that each team begin submitting their projects at 10 a.m. to avoid any technical difficulties. From then on, our judges will judge each project and the winners will be announced at 3 p.m. during the closing ceremonies. Good luck, everybody.
Hello, everyone. My name's Kayleen, and I'm a project coordinator at Spark Niagara. And for the hackathon organizing team, I am the marketing lead. So I just want to go over with you the chat function in the Hopin virtual event platform. So as you can see, there's numerous different chat functions. There's the event chat, which is the global chat for the whole event, the stage chat, which is specific to the stage, which most of you should be watching the opening ceremonies on right now. There's a session chat. This is where you can connect with your teammates on the sessions tab. As well, folks in the sessions chat who are not currently sharing their video or audio are still able to participate in the chat function. There's also chats for each expo booth, as you'll see shortly, and a one-on-one chat under the meeting function for networking. And then additionally, you can direct message any individual that's on the platform by going to people and searching the person's name in the top right corner. If you would like to contact a mentor, you can simply type in mentor under the People's tab in the search bar, and all the mentors will come up. Similarly, if you need to speak to any member of the organizing committee, like myself or any of the other lovely folks up here today, just type in staff and all of our names will come up. We are also identifying that we're staff when we're talking in the general chat. And then just a reminder to keep all your messages in the chats respectful and professional. But we look forward to chatting more with you online. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ayush and I'm currently a coach for Major League Hacking. I also love to play ball, so feel free to talk about that in the chat or just PM me about it. Besides that, my Instagram handle is there in the bottom left, and also Major League Hacking's Twitter handle is there if you want to see what MLH is up to. So everything that you need that I'm going to present and talk about in the next 5 or so minutes is going to be in this URL right here, which is hack.mlh.io. So if you want to get anything out of this presentation, it's going to be this URL right here, which is hack.mlh.io. MLH.io. Got it? All right, cool. So, what even is Major League Hacking? Well, Major League Hacking is a global hacker community with over 135,000 hackers just like you. By being here, you're actually winning community points for your own organization, and the community with the most points at the end of the year is going to win a super, super cool prize. So, what are we doing this weekend from Major League Hacking? Well, you can take a break with me at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow morning at the MS Paint Bob Ross mini event. Super, super fun. Great way to take a little break. And I hope to see a lot of you there. And by coming to it, you have the chance of winning a amazing limited edition season t-shirt. I'm going to be raffling out a couple of those for those that attend the mini event. Besides the mini event, and your own free time, you can draw an Octocat to win an Octocat. All you have to do is tweet your entry at GitHub Education with the hashtag MyOctocat and hashtag AgriTech Hackathon. Best Octocat wins an Octocat. So, besides that, I would highly suggest everyone here to look at the GitHub Student Developer Pack tools. It's a bunch of different tools in there, and I would say just take a quick look at it and see if it's going to be useful to you. If you want to look at more information on that, it's going to be at hackpack/GitHub. Besides that, we're going to have all the resources you need for this weekend. To get started, if you're a Canadian resident, you have a complimentary 4-pack of Red Bull. I think that's super, super cool. You know, you got to keep your energy for this weekend. And if you want to claim your gift, it's going to be hackpack/Red Bull-fall20. So take a quick picture of this. I'll also try to put this in the chat for those that are Canadian residents. So once again, Canadian residents only. Going forward, if you want to make a website for this weekend, I would suggest everyone here to look at domain.com. You can claim a free .tech, .space, or .online domain. And the code for this weekend is going to be Hey Turkey. So I'll try to put that in the chat as well so that it's there and you don't forget it. But besides that, I would suggest everyone here to just take a quick photo of this so that if you can't find it in the chat, you have it on your phone. Hopefully you take a photo. Cool. Next. So where are you going to host this domain? Well, you can use Google Cloud Credits, where you can get up to $100 worth of Google Cloud Credits. This restrictions do apply, so just a quick heads up. But if you want more information on that, it's going to be hackpack/Google Cloud Credits. You want to store your data somewhere? Well, look at CockroachDB. You get 30 days of free cluster access and unlimited usage. I think that's super, super cool. So you want more information on that, it's going to be hackpack/CockroachDB. If you're working on hardware this weekend, you actually have the chance of winning a sweet hardware prize. So hardware includes stuff like Alexas, Google Clouds, and it goes forward. So Raspberry Pis, etc. So if you haven't thought about doing a hardware hack yet, maybe think about doing a hardware hack for this weekend. Besides that, we have a bunch of different starter kits, and if you want to look more into that, it's going to be at hackpack/learn. Prizes for this weekend. So all the resources I just talked about, here are the prizes for those. They're also going to be on DevPost. I would highly suggest everyone here to demo, no matter what the outcome is on Sunday. I expect a demo from everyone. It's a fantastic learning process, and I want you to be proud about whatever you make because you probably learned a lot this weekend, and just demo. You get a free sticker. I think that's a pretty good incentive. So, I know COVID's hit everyone pretty hard this year, and possibly long-term effects are gonna be there, and jobs have been pretty difficult, frankly. So if you're looking at getting a job or an internship, perhaps look at the MLH Career Lab, which is hackpack/careers. Now, on a more serious note, Major League Hackathons are a safe place for everyone, and by being here, you are abiding to the code of conduct. The TLDR to that is that just be kind, be respectful. I know sometimes it's a little bit more easy to be a little bit more mean, and communication is just much more difficult online, and I get that. But just try to be as nice as possible and be kind. If something does come up, feel free to ping me, any organizer, or email us at incidents@mlh.com or .io, or call that phone number right there, and we will try to address any incidents as soon as possible. Once again, thank you to all our partners, and I'm super excited to see what y'all make this weekend. Best of luck.
Hello everybody, my name is Nicole Smith. I am the event lead for the AgriTech Hackathon as well as the event and communications coordinator for Spark. I am so excited that you guys are here. It's amazing that we have this amazing privilege of being able to host you here in the town of Lincoln, no matter where you are in this world. I have the distinct pleasure of doing two great things. Number one, I get to announce the other winners for the mini hack that we had. I actually had the privilege of chatting with most of them on the Discord app, learned a new app, which was pretty sweet, and had a lot of fun with it, and it was a great experience. And I also get the privilege of revealing the questions, all the 5 challenge questions, which is pretty cool. So we're going to start with the winners. So I would say drum roll, please, but we don't have a drummer. I'm sorry. I'd like to make it dramatic, but they said it wasn't in the budget. I apologize. So here we go. So the second place winners of the mini hack are Martin Côté, Jacob Shapansky, Alex White, and Hartika Balasuba. Oh, I knew I was going to mess that up. I'm so sorry, Hartika. My French tongue doesn't work the way it should sometimes. I apologize. So I'm going to try that again. Hartika Balasubramaniam. Please forgive me if I messed it up, because I'm sure I did. But you guys won second place. Thank you guys so much. You guys got to win the $300 prize, so we're very thrilled for that. There was a third prize. Unfortunately, the team that was in the running for the third prize didn't submit on time, and so that's kind of the way that fell, and we are sorry to hear that, but we hope that they're going to have a good time this weekend, and you're all going to have a good time this weekend. So that was that. So congratulations to our winners, and we really appreciate you doing that. And now we go on to la pièce de résistance, which is the challenge questions. So there are 5 challenge questions. Now, you are not going to be hacking a solution to all 5 challenge questions. That would be cruel in such a short period of time. So each one of you have been assigned one challenge category within your teams, obviously. So when you look at your team and you see the category, that is your challenge question. So you're going to want to pay attention, because I'm going to read all 5. And once that I'm done that, then you'll know what you're facing. So our first challenge question is in the category of soil erosion and depletion. This was sponsored by Corneef, which is a local company here in Grimsby, Ontario. They are the supplier of superior vegetables and tender fruits for more than 5 decades. So this is a business that's obviously very much of a family business. And they've been serving customers all across America, all across North America. So we are happy that Corneef has sponsored this question. So what is the question? The question is this: how can farmers use technology to monitor and report the health of their soils to avoid and reduce risk of soil erosion in their land? Now, when you find this question, you will see that there's a bunch of context and backgrounds just to give you something to start. And then we also have questions that say, not sure how to get started, so we've provided you with some resources just to get you going. So that is the first question. The next question is under the category of diseases and pests. And this was sponsored by a company called CleanWorks. Now, they are located in Beamsville, Ontario, so they're local to us. They specialize in cleaning fresh produce through their agri-food innovator, Clean Verification. However, because of COVID-19, this organization pivoted their business, and they introduced the Clean Flow Healthcare Mini to clean PPE equipment. And so, like a great entrepreneur should, they took what they had and they flipped it to make it so that they can provide a greater service. And so we're thankful to them for that. So what is their question? Well, their question is, how can technology reduce the economic impact of plant diseases and pests by improving farmers' ability to quickly and accurately diagnose and respond to plants, trees, vines, and disease, or pest issues. And again, there'll be resources for you to be able to get started on that one. So the third question is in the category of infrastructure. Now this one has been sponsored by Spark Niagara. Now Spark was incorporated in 2016, so we're a fairly young company. We are a tech-based small business and startup incubator seeking to assist the next generation of businesses to reach their potential. And so the question that we've sponsored is, how can technology improve local labor infrastructure by increasing the attractiveness and skill level of agricultural and greenhouse jobs, and by encouraging youth to seek employment in agriculture? Our fourth question is in the category of ecotourism and sustainability. And that one is sponsored by the town of Lincoln. Now Lincoln is celebrating their 50th year, their 50th anniversary. And they're serving the communities of Beamsville, Vineland, Jordan, Compton, Tintern, and Rockaway. They're filled with over 50 wineries, fresh fruit, vegetables, and flowers. Now, their question is, how can technology be used to benefit local agri-food businesses for sustainable practices and products, oh my goodness, and encourage consumers and tourists to access those sustainable options? And our final question is going to be in the category of production and environment, and that's going to be presented to you by the sponsor themselves, Intel.
Hello everyone, thanks for being there, thanks for having me. So my name is Denis Godreau, I am the country manager for Intel Canada. I'm pretty sure you know Intel, so we're the worldwide leader in semiconductor, so pretty much everything that needs compute to move and store data run on our technology. Intel Canada is about 1,000 people that are spread out among Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, and Vancouver. Those people are dedicated to our mission, which is to create world-changing technology that change the life of everyone on Earth. The team is working on designing technology for microprocessor, GPU, FPGA, and also engaging with all the large organizations across the country, from the public sector like government to the private sector like telco and the banking industries. We're here today for the AgriTech Hackathon. So we all know that agriculture is super critical. I grew up on a farm up north in Quebec. My parents still live on the farm, and I know how agriculture is critical, and especially during this pandemic time. So I'm super excited to be here with you today, and I would like to share with you what is our questions for the contest. Our questions fall under the category of product and environment. Here it is. How can emerging technology like computer vision and artificial intelligence can be leveraged to help not only to solve current challenge in agriculture, but also to help reducing the escalating costs? I will give you some clue. You can look on Google for Intel AI, Intel Compute, Visions, Agricultures. That should help you with your answer. With that being said, thank you so much and good luck.
Hello everyone. I have the distinct pleasure of doing all the fun things this evening. My name is Brittany Basilewski. I'm the tourism coordinator for the town of Lincoln, and I have the distinct pleasure of joining you in my very first hackathon ever as one of the event team organizers here for the AgriTech Hackathon. As some of my teammates have mentioned earlier, we did announce our mini hack prize winners. So our first prize winner was bestowed a $500 prize. Our second place winner, a $300 prize. So everyone knows we actually have over $10,000 in awarded prizes to hand out this weekend. And I'm ecstatic to let you know that in our elementary and secondary category, we have 7 teams competing from across the world. In our post-secondary and professional category, we have over 48 teams joining us this weekend. Our lucky elementary and secondary categories have $1,000 for our first prize winner. For our second prize winner, a $700 prize, and for our third prize winner, $500. For our post-secondary and professional category, our first prize winners have the lucky opportunity to win $3,000 worth of prizes. Second place, $2,000, and our third place winner has over $1,000 at their disposal to win this weekend. Now, I know you're all itching to get hacking. So, when and how will you get your questions delineated to you? So, our participants should have received by now a personalized email detailing not only their session number, but also introducing them to their team. So you know your team session and your team number are interchangeable this weekend. If you have any questions, I know Nicole shared our answers and our questions for you for the weekend, but please know that full question details, including content background, are available on our website, www.agritechhackathon.ca. As well, should you have missed that email, I do urge you to check your spam and/or junk folder, as we all know email and technology does not like to play nice on a Friday evening. And should you have had any problems and not received this information, our team is standing by in the chat room to assist you. As well, you also have our team 24/7, so please make sure that if you do have any questions, post those in the chat. We're standing by to assist.
The agri-food industry is always welcoming new talent. Careers in this sector help the province maintain strong food supply chains and ensure that Ontarians and Canadians across the country are properly fed. The variety of careers available in the industry span from farm to shelf. Opportunities can be found in farm labor, machinery, packaging, production, logistics, IT, technology, and more. There are plenty of farm and non-farm opportunities available that can build on your foundational skills. So please, take your time and build your professional network by connecting with our employers in order to find a job or company that is best suited to you. We wish you the best of luck in your search. Check us out on social media at Feed Your Future to find even more resources available to you as a job seeker.
Okay, so this is the last call and the conclusion of tonight's opening events. So I wanted to leave some closing thoughts. First of all, I wanted to thank Rockway Vineyards, who have been tremendous hosts to us tonight and will continue to be so through the weekend. We'll see you all again on Sunday afternoon for the closing ceremonies from here. Specifically Mary Zhang and Kim Hammerton and the events team here at Rockway for hosting us. They've been tremendous to work with over the last several months. I want to thank again all of our speakers for sharing their insights and wisdoms with us. So Paul Ianni, Councillor McPherson, Mary Easton, Sam, Dean, Dr. Bowen. For the record, I've been drinking water all night per Dr. Bowen's councillor. Thank you again for sharing with us your thoughts. I want to really give a big thank you to the project team, who some of whom you've met tonight. So Cameron Rotz and Brittany Basilewski from the town of Lincoln, Kayleen Jackson and Nicole Smith from the Spark team. You didn't get to meet Joseph. Joseph is over there running the technology. Also want to thank the team from Major League Hacking and WeStream for keeping us going and online and making sure all the tech came together. And finally, I'd like to thank again all of the sponsors. Throughout the evening tonight, you've heard a little bit about some of our sponsors. You've gotten to see a little bit of video content from some of our sponsors, and we're going to keep that up throughout the weekend, and we'd encourage you all to visit their websites and learn more about the work that they do, not just here in Lincoln where they're based, but across Ontario, Canada, and the world in many cases. And finally, of course, we here in Rockway, in the town of Lincoln, want to thank all of you participants, all 300 or so of you in 21 countries around the world, for signing up, for participating, for being here this evening, for working through the weekend. We're very much looking forward to seeing you off and on throughout the weekend and learning your thoughts on the challenge questions that Nicole laid out a few moments ago. So as a final reminder, we go live again tomorrow morning for our morning kickoff at 8:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so you can set your clocks properly. It is now 8:09 p.m. Friday night. Eastern Standard Time here where we are. So thank you again, everybody, and good luck, good hacking. We'll see you throughout the weekend.